Today on the Diz List, we give pin trading tips for Walt Disney World.
Welcome to the Diz List, the podcast that lists everything at Walt Disney World. I'm Nick.
And I'm Rob, and today we're going to talk about one of our favorite things and one of our kids' favorite things.
Absolutely.
Both kids.
Yes.
Pin trading.
It is something that I didn't think I would get into.
Me too.
And
I'm like, I don't need another thing to collect.
right.
You know, you and I are big collectors. We won't get into all that.
Yeah.
It's not all Disney related. Some
Yeah.
of it is.
Not hoarders. That's
No.
different. But we
Like
we
you
collect,
like baseball cards.
sports memorabilia,
I
that type of
collect,
stuff.
jerseys and guitar
Vinyl.
pedals and vinyl and
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. We're collectors. We're not quite to the hoarding level.
What I would say is that pin trading is interesting for me because it's the one place where I'm not a completist.
Me too. That's weird.
So like,
because we are with other things.
oh yeah, like if I'm collecting a certain set of baseball cards, I
Yeah.
need the entire set.
Yeah.
I'm not let's just buy a couple boxes of this and see what I get. Let's buy all the boxes that I can get so I can complete the set. My son's the same way with that, but
Yeah.
not with pin trading, with the exception of some sets he'll find and be like, I'm going to chase that. And that's what I think is fun about pin trading.
Yeah.
It really can be a lot of fun.
And the cool thing about it is Disney's IP is so vast that you can, like for me, for example, and you know this, I'm a fan of, and some of them are behind you. If you turn around, you can point. I'm into the classic Star Wars figures, some of the newer Star Wars figures.
Yeah.
But they made these pins a couple years ago, and you had helped look for them for me.
Yeah.
And they're based on the 70s and 80s action figures.
Yeah, they're Kenner toys.
And I didn't get all of them, but it was cool, the ones I have. And I would always put, you know this because you'd see my band play, I was always put them on my guitar strap when I would play.
Yeah.
And but anyway, back to pin trading here. We've done this a lot with our kids, and the reason I say kids is not just sons. Our sons both really love it.
Yeah.
But my daughter really enjoyed it too. I know your daughter does too.
Yes.
My daughter would buy the lanyard and clip them all to the lanyard and walk around. They go in and out of it. But I think pretty consistently, I think you and I and the boys have been,
Yeah, I think so the part that hooked us, and we'll get started, we'll move on a little bit after this, but the thing that hooked me, and I think my daughter on it, we were walking through Magic Kingdom, we're in the hub, and it was our first trip, and was it my first? I think it was my first trip. It might have been the second trip, but either way, there was this old gentleman, and I'm talking like,
oh, it's a great story.
yeah, 75, 80 years old, and his wife, and they're walking by and they've got pins, and they see that my kids are trading pins, and they're like, would you like to trade? And my son's like, I guess I don't. And like this,
well, it's
guy,
weird, and a stranger's
right.
coming up to you,
and so then he's like, oh, by the way, here, just take these, and gives him all of his traders that he had left for his trip. He's like, we're going to get on a cruise anyway, so you guys can use these to trade. And my daughter and my son were like, oh my God, like that. And that's when you realize the community of pin traders is
That's
like
awesome.
a different community. We had some fun in the last week.
Yes.
You went to a concert. I went to a concert.
Mine is not really Disney related. I was trying to tie it in. Disney,
it
but-
is ABC.
Yeah, that's true.
How many times did they visit Disney on that show?
That's a good point. That's a very good point. We went to see the Beach Boys, which was actually my first concert in the 80s. So it was really cool. Went with my whole family and my parents and my sister. So, the four of us that went to that original concert.
Yeah.
Plus my sister and her kids and my kids too. Anyway, we had a great time.
Yeah.
But the point is that the Beach Boys still, and they've had this since late 80s, early 90s, feature John Stamos.
Yes.
So John Stamos tours with the band, sings lead vocals on some songs, plays drums and guitar. He is an excellent drummer.
Yeah, I know.
Excellent drummer.
I know as a drummer, he's ridiculous.
He is
Yeah.
very, very good.
Yeah.
So that was fun. So we saw that. Their show starts at 5:00, and it was one of those days where it was 91. So in New York, a 91 humid day is pretty rough.
Yeah, pretty
So
spicy.
we're out in the humidity. But anyway, you and I were texting the other night, and I had forgotten that that's where you were going, and you were in Buffalo seeing
Weird Al.
I love it.
So my son's a huge Weird Al fan, which I think is hilarious. My son has the most. I tell him it's schizophrenic, but he has the most eclectic mind for music, and the musicianship of Weird Al's band was the most unexpectedly excellent concert
100%.
I've ever seen. They were really good. His voice is, it's still good. Puddle's Pity Party. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about.
I didn't, but I looked it up. He's the clown.
He's the
singing
clown
guy.
Yeah. And his show was hilarious, but he's like really talented. There were a number I was posting on our close friends story for the Disney related stuff, and some of them were not so Disney related. He plays a song called the Jungle Cruise Ride, where he's singing. He's talking about how when he grows up, he's going to drive the Jungle Cruise Ride. And I was like, this is Rob.
Yes.
So, and he also does all the Star Wars ones. But in the end, the closer of his show, he starts singing, goes off on this rant where they're doing like this chanting stuff. And all of a sudden, the chant, I'm like, I recognize this chant. It's the Tiki Room chant.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes a little bit further, and he starts singing Grim Grinning Ghosts.
Let's see if we can pick up. Let's see if I can
Okay.
get the video of it, if it'll come out here.
Yeah, so Rob pulled up a video. Yeah,
The harmony on that is unbelievable.
and they're dancing the whole time too. So they're doing that harmony and they're dancing.
Wow.
It was so the show ends, and my wife had surprised my son. In addition to the Christmas gift, she went behind my back and got him the VIP because I was like, no, we're not getting him VIP. Not for Weird Al. So she
I've done it a couple times.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool experience.
It is. So she gets him the VIP experience, which involves going backstage after the show to get a picture and an autograph. And
I haven't seen the picture yet.
I'll show it to you.
Okay.
So we go backstage, and R2D2 is there. And I don't mean like and I post if you are a close friend of the show, meaning that you're a Patreon member, and if you're not part of the close friends on Instagram, but you are a Patreon member, that's because you haven't sent me your Instagram handle. So send it to me. But
So I'm laying in bed. I don't remember what time this was.
it was like 11:45.
I'm laying in bed. I'm just farting around on my phone, and I'm texting with Nick, and he's like, "Well, I'm just kind of waiting here for my son to finish up with Weird Al, and guess who rolled by?" And I could have said anything. It could have been anybody is in the area. Who knows?
Yeah.
And you're like, just hanging out with R2D2. I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, and I sent him a picture, and I posted it on our story. But R2, and this is not like it is a full size
Astromech droid.
Yes, and it's talking and it's doing the scream and the head spin
Oh my
and
God.
the whole thing, and it's like going up to people and talking.
So
It
cool.
was really, really cool. They were running it as a true photo op. Like they were going around. Oh, would you like to get a picture with R2? And like,
Who
okay,
wouldn't?
sure, yeah. Weird Al, by the way, is way taller than you think he is. He's a bigger dude than you
Wow.
think he is. Yeah.
Huh.
Because like my son, is my height, and he was probably 4 or 5 inches taller than my son. So
Wow.
he's got to be 6'3",
Jeez.
somewhere in there.
UHF.
6'4".
UHF is one of my favorite movies from the 80s.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
Also, if you haven't seen the movie Weird, which is his biopic,
Oh, that was funny.
it's hilarious.
The
Yeah.
ending is unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, I'm not going to say anything.
No.
The ending of the movie is,
Well, the whole thing's unbelievable.
yes, but the ending is extra unbelievable.
So, what you're going to notice over the next few weeks, if you're watching this on YouTube, is that Rob's going to be changing clothes, and I am not. So I just want to put that out. We are doing some batch shows, so because of that, and I know I didn't tell Rob I was going to say that about him.
I don't care.
But basically, what's going to happen is we're doing some batch shows, so they might be a little bit shorter. We're trying to keep them to the half hour. Plus, we're trying something a little bit new out with some of our shows. So we're going to head off to the halftime break right now. And when we get back, we're going to give you all of our tips for pin trading. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about our favorite tips for pin trading. Pin trading, as Rob alluded to in the top half of the show,
Yep.
is something that we really enjoy doing with our kids.
Yes.
And our kids really enjoy doing it. In fact, during COVID, because we really couldn't do anything,
Mm-hmm.
my son had loved pin trading so much that they did a different thing for their pin trading festival they do, where it was all online. And you got to have there was basically when the pin trading festivals a lot of times have trading rooms, but they also have almost like Comic-Con where they have panels. And so the panels were all online and streamed. And we got that for my son because he was really into pin trading. It was really for all of us because we went through and were able to enter a lottery to try to buy these specialized pins. We got some crazy pins that are super valuable now because they're one and done kind of a thing. So we really do get into it, but it can be intimidating, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're doing, you can get intimidated by it.
I mean, and you were an above average, I don't know, connoisseur, so to speak, of
Right.
pin trading during that time during COVID.
Yeah.
And I remember I was over at your house and you handed me that catalog and you were like, well, and you're explaining it to me and I'm just like, whoa, I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah.
And you were showing me well, this kind of pin can open up and this kind of pin will rotate and reveal this or that.
Yeah.
And you were showing me these Marvel ones and it was
crazy,
really,
yeah.
really, really cool.
Yeah. Some of the comic books actually have pages. It's crazy.
It's amazing.
But there are a lot of tips for people who have never gone before. What would you say your best tip would be?
Well, my first question
Okay.
I wanted to, before I get into the tips, I was wondering in my own mind, it was, okay, I think there's the most opportunities to do pin trading at Epcot. That was my first thought. But then I did a little bit of research. Turns out now that's the Magic Kingdom because I looked up where the different opportunities were to do pin trading. And what has happened is it's sort of exploded because for a long time you couldn't pin trade with a cast member.
So starting in COVID, they stopped letting the cast members carry their pin lanyards or their pin books. They're kind of hang off their like a lanyard themselves, but it's not. They stopped letting them do it, right? And then the reasons made sense, right?
Yeah.
And at that time,
Yeah.
I would agree with you. Yes, it had been Epcot because every country generally had their own pin board, or usually it was by the KidCot station. They would have a pin board. But now, I think that if you do a deep dive on the research, I think probably there's more opportunities. You are right in Magic Kingdom.
They listed all the places. I'm not going to get into all that. We don't have time for all that. But one of the fun things is if you do get a kid or if you're into pin trading, when we would go to a country, my son would say, "All right, going in to find the pin board," and I always gave him something to do. When you get a little older, Epcot becomes more interesting with the country side of it, with the food and the drinks and everything else. And the younger kids get to do KidCot, but that kind of middle tween to teenage, if they're into pin trading, just makes for really a cool thing for kids to get into. And back to the start of the show too, there's something at Disney for everybody.
Oh yeah.
Whether you're a Star Wars geek like I am, or maybe you're into Encanto or the newer stuff or the older stuff, they make old Robin Hood and Sword in the Stone. Like if you're older like we are and you like the nostalgia of those movies, they still make all those things too.
I know we usually start in this show with you saying the first tip. I just realized something, and that is that we have been talking about pin trading and haven't even really explained what it is. So I'm actually going to give a tip and then actually explain what it is.
Good idea. We should probably pull back. That's a good point. As teachers,
Yeah.
we always think, okay, we got to know our audience and we have to start at the beginning and explain the concept.
Sometimes,
apologies to listeners.
Yeah,
if you're I'm this far and I still don't know what the heck we're talking about.
When you're deep into it, sometimes you use language and stuff that people...
Great point.
So you can buy pins at lots of different shops, brand new pins, whatever. You get these pins. Sometimes they come in mystery packs. Sometimes they come as an individual. You can buy really fancy pins. You can buy really cheap pins. They're all different, and it depends. You can buy resort specific pins, whatever. The pin trading side of things, in Disney World, there will be people at these things called pin boards, or cast members will be carrying a lanyard with pins.
And sometimes they're not cast members too.
Sometimes not, true. The cast members, however, are required, if you want one of the pins that's visible on their lanyard, they must trade you one for one.
Yes, correct.
And you can trade up to two at every spot. So if you have 20 pins, you could conceivably trade at 10 different locations throughout the day, or 20 different locations or more. And so basically what you're doing is you're like, I got this pin. I thought I liked it at the time. I don't like it as much as I thought I did. I really like that pin that's showing there. Let's trade.
Mhm.
Okay. And they are required to allow that.
And
Now,
one of the cool things about that, let me just jump in,
you're
is
good.
value is out the window here.
Correct.
It's not, oh, that pin is worth 50 pins. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
If you have a pin that is just not a great one
For a
where you
cast
have-
member.
for a cast member,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Well, if I'm trading with Nick, or like if our sons are trading, which they've done,
Mhm.
you can do whatever you want.
Yes.
But when you go to Epcot and you walk in on the right hand side, they have that pin store, pin
Yes.
traders. It's
Pin
called.
traders. Yeah.
There's a board there right out front, and you spy that R2D2 pin that you've been looking for.
Yep.
You can take any pin that you have on you and say, I want to trade for that
Correct.
pin, and it's a 1-for-1 even trade. They'll say yes.
Correct. So my first tip is this of pin trading that takes a little while, especially for young kids to understand. Just because you approach the board or approach the cast member to see the pins does not mean you must trade. Don't feel obligated to make a trade. If nothing on the board appeals to you, don't do it.
Just take a look.
That's probably not a tip that I need to tell adults. It is a tip that I would say keep that in mind and remind your children that, because I've definitely seen my son be like, I guess that one. And it's like, what do you mean you guess? Do you really want it? Because if it's not as good as what you want,
right.
don't take it. If
They
you're going
feel
to end
like
up
they got to commit.
if you're going to end up trading it later anyway, don't get that one.
Right. Yeah.
So I would say don't feel obligated is my number one tip, because there are other opportunities and you can trade up to 2. Maybe you show up at a board later and there's 2 things that you really want. Trade both of them. Okay. So that's my first tip I would give.
Can we talk a little bit about, I'm going to talk about the positive, and then you're going to get to the negative of this
Yeah.
one is, I've bought bulk pins on eBay before.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's multiple people that do this, and you can buy a bag. They come in the mail. I did this last summer for my son, and it worked out really well. We got a nice batch, excuse me. Decent pins, some okay. Some of them he kept because he liked, and then the ones he didn't want, he brought. We call them burners, right? They're your traders, whatever you want to call. But you have a different side of this.
I don't think it's a bad idea, right? We've also bought pins at the local flea market before.
Yes, our wives love going to the flea
correct.
market on Sundays.
Now, in these big bulk packs, sometimes you get a dealer online that's doing a good thing, and there really are a lot of good pins in there, or maybe they're not good pins, but there are a lot of pins, and they're all Disney pins.
But
Like anything that's collectible, there are forgeries. And so those are called scrappers, and they're not like, you'll notice the colors off. Like Cinderella's dress will be the wrong blue, or their eye will look a little wonky, or the back won't be stamped properly. It won't have a number or like a serial number on it. Those are times when you might be like, okay, this is not a real pin. So those kinds of pins you don't want to trade, because you don't want to put that up for somebody else. So Rob's showing one right now where you can hopefully see the back of that is stamped. Now he's probably gonna have a hard time getting it to focus exactly on that because of the reflective material, but the back is stamped with like a repeating Mickey Mouse pattern. One way you can guarantee that you're going to get solid traders that you can use is what you could do is what we like to do, which is after a holiday, Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, where they've had limited edition pins for that holiday, one of the things that we like to do is go and buy those pins that were marketed for Halloween 2025. We will buy them afterward because they're no longer good, right? They're good, quote unquote. And so what will happen is they will put them on deep discount. And we'll buy them from the Disney store, and we'll buy the mystery boxes. So you can buy these mystery boxes. It's like trading card packs. And by buying those on discount, you might pay like, I don't know, let's say it ends up being $3 or $4 a pin, when normally you're paying $8, $9, $10 a pin. And then you can use those $3, $4 trader pins, or the pins that you bought in the mystery pack, to go and use those as traders. That's one of the tips I have. I agree with you. eBay is a good place.
But you never know.
But you don't know what you're getting, right? And so you got to be careful with those. If it's a reputable dealer and you see a lot of comments that say these were real pins, that's a good thing. You might get a bunch of junkers. Now, on the flip side, though, if you want, you really can limit your spending by buying those mystery packs of 4 or 5, or like the starter sets that are deeply discounted sometimes. And you're like, I'm not going to actually keep these starter pins, but I am going to use them to trade for something more nice, something nicer.
Here's my tip. My tip is when you first get, well, at least when I like to get to Disney World, I like to go to Disney Springs when we get there. Some people like to go straight to the parks, but we go to Disney Springs first. My daughter will get her ears. We'll look around in World of Disney store. If you're new to pin trading, okay, if it's for a kid or you as a teen or an adult, go into World of Disney, buy a pin or show up with your pins. If you go to the guest relations building, which is right in the center, it's kind of over by Blaze Pizza. It's in the middle there, right? It's a really good way to get your feet wet with pin trading because they have a pin board right outside and there's the nicest cast members. There's no pressure. You're not in the park. Nobody is going, come on, Susie, we got to go get on Jungle Cruise. There's no time. You just kind of go up and you see what they have. And I can remember clearly there was a Thor pin that my son wanted, and he made a trade right there at guest relations, and it went really well. So if you're nervous, you haven't done it before, you want to really see how it works, and you're at Disney Springs, that's my trick. Try it out.
There's a, I would say to add on to that, because I agree with you, there's a similar spot in every park, but the one that stands out to me is in Hollywood Springs to the left-hand side as you're walking in.
Hollywood Studios?
Hollywood Springs, jeez. Yeah.
No, I know what place you're talking about.
Hollywood
It's
Studios,
the
yes.
photo building.
Yes.
Because we went in there for photo pass.
And they in the photo pass building, they have a great cast member for that it's not the same person every time, but they have a great pin-specific cast member in there kind of helping you out. And then also a random spot in the park that I would mention is also kind of low-key. Is Memento Mori around the corner, like in that particular shop. There's generally a pin board with a lot of Hollywood Mansion type stuff on there.
Cool.
So that's a great tip though. Guest relations in Disney Springs or anywhere in Disney Springs because it's a lot less pressure.
Let's say you got a younger kid or you have a family member who has a disability or is just really nervous.
Yeah,
try
absolutely.
it out.
Absolutely.
I have another one here I wanted to talk about. And I know I did this, and I know my son did this, but he didn't remember doing this, and I had to explain it to him, and then he finally remembered it. But I think we were together, and I think we were at the Polynesian when we did this. So let me know if this is when we were together or not. The mystery boxes. Have you done this? Where they had it at the Polynesian. I remember where we were. We were upstairs, and we were in the gift shop, and they have pin trading, and it looks kind of like a jewelry drawer. You know those like your mom had those little jewelry drawers that you pull out?
So I'm gonna pause you. Yes, we did this.
Sure. Do you have this?
I have this as well, but it's not about the mystery boxes because it's not always mystery boxes.
Yeah.
It is or was mystery boxes when. So what Rob's describing is like an old school advent calendar is the best way for me to describe it.
Correct. Were we together when we did this?
We did.
Okay,
I
thought so.
Yeah. Now the cast members now that they can carry again, they have went back to also carrying mystery pins. I have on here, always choose the mystery.
Yeah.
Because it's just fun, right? If it's a trader you want to trade anyway, always choose the mystery.
Why not? Even if you get something bad, who cares?
Yeah. So just so people know, if they have those boxes like you're talking about where you pull them out, like Rob did describe it pretty well, like an old jewelry box, but I think of it as like almost like an advent calendar.
Exactly. And there's numbers on them.
Yes.
Say, I want number 7.
Yep. Yeah. So they have if it's a non-box one, right? If it's a cast member carrying them around on their pin lanyard or on their little like their pouch thing that they carry them on, you will see that there's the rubber Mickey head pin back showing with no pin. That's the mystery one. So sometimes what they've done is a lot of times what they'll do is they'll put really special ones there.
Cool.
And so the last time I was there, we knew they were special because those ones you could only get if you could answer trivia questions right.
Nice.
And so it was like questions like, what are one guy asked something like, what are the 3 number 1 songs ever from a Disney movie? Or
Jeez, I don't know if I could get that.
One was what's the which one was because this guy was all about music because he asked something about the musical score from Fantasia and like just some crazy cool stuff they'll ask. That's when you know they're really good. Sometimes they're just like, yeah, I'll trade the mystery, and it might be something lame, but I can guarantee you that wasn't.
Oh, it's like an Indiana Jones movie.
They will oftentimes have cast member exclusive pins that ends up getting traded. You can't buy them. They can only come from cast members.
Yeah,
somehow.
and on the back, I remember my son telling me this. I'm trying to remember now. On the back, there's Mickey ears, and the Mickey ears stamp on the back means something.
No, Mickey ears stamp on the back is normal. That's what they always are.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about the hidden Mickey pins.
Probably
on the front where they will have an embossed hidden Mickey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they will say cast member exclusive. Some of them. Some of them will tell you, like my son traded for one last year that was from Shanghai Disney.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. But yeah, that was on my list, so I'm glad you brought it up, and we did do that together. So you can tell your son that we did that together.
It took once I described it, like he remembered, and then I remembered where we were, and I'm like, I wonder if we were together at Polynesian.
Yeah, we were.
I think you have a couple more. Do you have one or two more?
I have one more.
Okay.
One more thing that I think is important that people know. This is not a park exclusive thing. Some of the best pins that I've seen on trading boards, are in the resorts. And I will also say some of the best places to buy pins. If you're not into trading, you don't want to do that, but you want to buy the collectible pins, the best place, in my opinion, on property is Fantasia.
I was just going to say that in the Contemporary.
In the Contemporary. It is, I've been able to find every single weird limited edition pin there that I couldn't find at Pin Traders in Epcot, that I couldn't find in Disney Springs at their pin trading location. So I tend to think that might be the better place.
Good tip.
But resort places are definitely, the boards at resorts oftentimes are great. Couple reasons. You have people there who are from all over the world, and I've found some more like far flung, like I think the Shanghai Disney was from a resort board. A lot of times they will have like specialty, like resort only things you can get there. So I've seen some really good stuff, and if you're looking for rare or older pins, a lot of times you'll find them there. So my son was looking to complete a set that actually has Mickey heads that kind of look like your shirt, where they were all these different colors, and he needed one or two different colors, and he knew what colors he needed, and he was able to complete the set. I believe he completed it last year by doing it at a resort. So don't just think this is just a parks thing. This is a resort thing, and Disney Springs, as you mentioned. So
I have one more question for you, and
Great.
I don't know if you know the answer to this or not. There's certain places online, like, if you want to sell guitar stuff, you go to Reverb. There's different websites for things like that. Do you think eBay is still the best one if you're looking for a Disney pin, or is there somewhere to go for, let's say you have 9 out of 10 and you're looking for that number 10? Where would you say to go?
So eBay can be rough for those because they can be forgeries.
Yeah.
And although eBay's upped its game with like sports memorabilia where it will verify it, I think with Disney pins they're not there. There are forums and stuff where you can go, and they're pretty well trusted people. And like, it's one of those situations where if you get caught selling a scrapper there, you're
gone.
Yeah, they're gonna like police themselves, so people won't do that. I would say if you go on Google, you can find it. There's a few of them. It's like Lego, where if you have a specific set you want to get, there is a site for that where you can get the authentic one. People looking to sell their old Lego. So it's the same thing with pins. Because it's a worldwide thing. People really do get into it, and you can find some fun things. You might be into the most obscure Disney character, and you can find pins for it.
Yeah, there's only one that we've ever really had trouble finding, because my son was in the Little Mermaid play, and he played, I'm trying to remember the name of the butler he was.
Yeah.
And not the butler.
We found one, I thought.
He's not the butler. He's the assistant. We found, there was only one in existence.
Yeah.
And he's going to kill me for forgetting the name of it.
Yeah.
It's Eric's handler.
Yeah.
Or he's not really a butler.
No, he's like his handler, though.
I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
He is a long way. Anyway,
Everybody's yelling at us. But
that was a hard one.
Yeah. So, I mean, but they do have obscure characters. So I think that you guys would enjoy this. I think that if you follow our tips, you'll be able to be successful with pin trading. Pin trading's a lot of fun. I think it's great to get kids into it too. It gives that tween-teen age, age group something to do.
Yep.
If you haven't yet, please go over to patreon.com/DizlessPod and join us over there either for free or as a paid member. Even if you're a free member, you can get added to our close friends list, so you can see fun pictures of me with R2-D2 at Weird Al. I was posting a bunch of stuff that night. But It's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Tomorrow's just a list away.
Tune in next time, and we'll see you real soon.